nutrition, and it's my favorite product right here, Isolize Protein. I'm telling you, when your body's feeling hurt and need a reboost, Isolize is the product to go. I love cinnamon donut, and I'm telling you right now, the best thing I love about this product is easy to mix, on the go. Isolize is the way to go. It's your boy, Big Baby Miller. I'm the baddest motherfucker in America. What species are you?
Welcome in the RxMuscle studios here in New York for another episode of Ask Dave, better known as #AskDave. Brought to you by, as always, by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. $35 off 57-serve Isolize this month only. Limited edition 57-serve Isolize only available at speciesnutrition.com. 30-minute question and answer show with Dave Palumbo. We do this every week. You get to watch us on YouTube. We have our live stream audience as well. Questions on supplementation, training, IFBB pros, competition, anything you have in your mind, Dave here is here to answer your questions. Dave, we are 9 days away from Christmas, and right now on speciesnutrition.com, we have stocking stuffers, samples, shirts, apparel, things that you can have instead of the typical items that you would have as a stocking stuffer.
Yeah, well, I always have people, contacting me and asking me, what can I do for stocking stuffers? Why don't you offer something? So I said, you know what, Sid? This year we're going to have a nice stocking stuffer. You guys go on there, check it out. I think you're going to like it. It's a nice little gift you can buy, add to your Christmas gifts and holiday gifts that you're giving to all your loved ones and family members. And, anyone who works out and is into that would love this. Believe me. I know. I love to get stuff that relates to working out, to supplementation. All the other stuff is annoying to me. I hate when I get gifts that I can't use. But if you know someone is obsessed with working out like I am and like, all of us who watch this show are, get them the stocking stuffers on Species Nutrition. They'll love you for it. I promise you. Another thing I want to bring up, Sid, is if I get one more person who emails me, and this is a good email, but people are asking me, a lot of people got hemorrhoids lately. And I don't know if it's because for the holidays, they're starting to eat, heavier foods. Not, as bodybuilders, we don't eat foods that are that rich in fiber. The reason is because we try to get the calorie-dense foods, high protein, high in good fats, dense carbohydrates. We don't eat enough fiber in our diet. And to be honest with you, it's very hard to eat enough fiber. If you don't want to get hemorrhoids, get Fiberlize. I'm telling you, 2 servings a day, you'll never get hemorrhoids. I promise you. Hemorrhoids are gotten because you're straining to get the waste out of your body. Because the longer waste sits in your colon, the more water and fluid is extracted from it. That's what the colon does. And when you're not taking in fiber, stuff sits in the colon too long. And then when you try to push it out, it's dehydrated, it's hard, and it rips the tissues down there, and it causes hemorrhoids. Fiberlize will make the stuff slide out of your body like you lubed it up with like Vaseline. I'm telling you, I know it sounds a little gross, but you guys know what I'm talking about. If you don't want hemorrhoids and you don't want to ever get them, or if you have them and you don't want them to get worse where you have to go get them lasered off, take a fiber supplement twice a day. I promise you, if you use Fiberlize twice a day, they'll go away and you'll never get them again. That's my rant.
So once again, visit speciesnutrition.com, the sponsor of this show, Ask Dave. Simple enough. You can join us on the Muscle Central Forum on RxMuscle.com. If you're not already a member, it is free to register. Or on our social media platforms, on our Instagram page, our official Facebook page, you can tweet your questions using #AskDave. Or if you're watching us live on YouTube, you can chime in on the comment section on the right-hand side of the video screen. But as always, we are going to start in the Muscle Central Forum on RxMuscle.com. and check in with the EMRBSU. Dave, what are your thoughts about popcorn as a snack? Not the pre-bagged microwave popcorn, but the plain kernels that you pop on stove and only add salt to.
I'll tell you something. I did a video. It's probably somewhere in the RxMuscle YouTube archives where I showed you how to make healthy popcorn. I was a popcorn junkie when I was a runner back in the 80s. I used to eat it all night until it made me sick to my stomach because I figured it was healthy. And I would put a little Parmesan cheese on it sometimes, mostly just salt. But you can go get the plain kernels in the supermarket in those big bags, the plastic bags. You put them in, get a like a wok. I use a wok. And I put some macadamia nut oil in there. And I throw the kernel, I throw like 1 or 2 kernels in there, and I start heating it up. And once I hear those pop, those first 2 pop, I know the oil's hot enough. I throw in half a cup in there, I put a cover on the top and I crack it just so that the steam could come out, and I pop it. They pop perfectly every time. The mac oil is healthy. You don't have to worry about the bad oil. It has a nice taste. I put a little salt on it, and that is a great snack at night. Except, of course, if you're dieting on a low-carb diet, then you don't want to do it. But if you're not and you're off-season, you want to have a healthy snack, you can't do better than that.
Let's go to Cyril Mech. Hi, Dave. Your opinions on the metabolic doc Thomas O'Connor. He thinks everyone ever taking steroids will have an enlargement of the heart, and that even TRT are bad and you risk never being able to get your girl pregnant.
Well, guys, I'd like to tell you, after 13 years of using anabolic steroids and 10 years on hormone replacement, my wife is having a baby in January. So if I can get someone pregnant, anyone can. Look, it all comes down to science. Taking anabolic steroids do have risks. Putting on, 80 pounds of muscle have risks. You could enlarge your heart. And I think most of us bodybuilders out there do have a slightly enlarged left ventricle, myself included. How long it takes to be on anabolics before that occurs, how much weight you need to gain before that happens is anyone's guess. I bet you there's bodybuilders out there that have taken tons of steroids and weighed 300 plus pounds and don't have enlarged hearts. So it's very genetic. Your genetics kind of dictate what's going to happen to you. Does that mean that, everyone is going to get it? No. Does it mean that taking anabolic steroids and being very big, muscularly speaking, will increase your likelihood of having an enlarged heart? Absolutely. Does it mean that your enlarged heart will make you die earlier? Probably not, but some people might. So, the best thing to do is if you're going to use anabolic steroids, if you're going to become a bodybuilder and put on a lot of muscle, get your checkups. Get your echocardiograms where they can measure the thickness of your heart. Do your blood work so you can take your blood pressure to make sure your blood pressure is not too high, and be safe about it. And I think that that's the most responsible way to go about it.
Let's go to, what do we got here? I had a question on bikini girls. So the question is, how exactly are IFBB bikini pros even judged? And who do you think is the hottest right now? My favorites are Janet Lyug and Justine Monroe. And he even threw in a Hubba Hubba, which is something I have not heard since Family Matters in 1992. Go on, Dave.
It's hard. Glutes obviously very important. You want a nice round butt, but you don't want a fat butt. So that could be a problem, So once again, you have to really make sure that when you judge a bikini girl, there's multiple factors involved. It's the physique, it's the face too. A lot of people don't realize face is super important. You can't have an ugly bikini girl who's going to do well. It doesn't really mesh well with the sport. That's a part of the division that's judged. So you can't be mad if you don't do well because you're not that good looking, or someone who's better looking than you does well. That's a component of how bikini is judged. I personally like Janet Lyug. I like her physique a lot. I like Tawny Eubanks from Texas. I think she's great. I think India Paulina's a little on the smaller side, but I do like her too. I think she's got a cute look, even though she doesn't have a lot of muscle. And I like Sarah LeBlanc's look, even though she's no longer with the IFBB. I liked her look, even though she was a little bit more muscular. So once again, you can have the spectrum of someone like a Sarah LeBlanc. Then you can go down to the India Paulina. They have two different types of physiques, but yet to me, they both work for the division. So it's got to be the judges have to say, you know what, I like the way this looks, even if it's intangible and you can't necessarily define it. That's what bikini is.
You're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com, brought to you by Species Nutrition. The best overall question, as well as the best I hate this show, gets Nitralized pre-workout by Species Nutrition. We continue on the Muscle Central forum and go to your pal Sal, and then he does throw in some caps here, so follow along. Since I am in a passive-aggressive mode, I won't even bother telling you why I hate this show. Now, the passive-aggressive part, of course, a reference to an episode that we had last week. He has two questions. The first one, how can you keep an optimal input of proteins in your diet if your kidneys are slightly inefficient? In parentheses, can you compensate with EAAs and BCA supplementation?
You'd be surprised. You don't need as much protein as you think you might need. Now, having said that, let me preface it. To put muscle on, to get big, you definitely need to eat a lot of protein. Once you've gotten the muscle, which is usually when the kidney issues occur later in life, you don't really need to eat as much to maintain that muscle mass. I have guys that I'm helping who have high creatinine levels that I put them on my detox program, which, by the way, I give away for free if you email me at huge285@AOL.com. I've sent out a lot of those. You do those for 3 weeks. I've helped people, bring their creatinine down. And then I've put them on maintenance diets of lower protein, maybe 120 grams a day. And guess what? They haven't lost any muscle. They've maintained it because their bodies are efficient, and that muscle will not go away unless you starve it off. I purposely went on a quest to lose muscle, okay? I wanted to get down into around 210 because I felt that my blood pressure would be the best at that, and I felt I could be able to cycle good at that. And you know what? I had to starve the freaking muscle off my body. I had to eat twice a day, very, very low protein, because it would not leave. So, having said that, if you have some kidney issues, you're older, you got a lot of muscle in your body, you don't need to be pounding 300-400 grams of protein a day anymore. You can probably eat 150, 120 grams of protein a day, giving your kidneys a little bit of a break. Another great thing to do is something that I also do and that I recommend that other people do just for health purposes is only eat 12 hours out of the day. Intermittent fasting, some people call it. So I eat from the hours of 11 p.m. or I don't eat from the hours of 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. At 11 a.m., I have my first meal, and then I stop eating at 11 p.m. So for 12 hours out of every day, most of the time, unless I'm traveling, I only eat, that's when I eat my food. And that gives your kidneys and your liver and your internal organs a chance to detox during that 12-hour fast. So if you implement a few of these things, I think you'll be fine.
Your pal Sal also wanted to know the ingredients and science behind your kidney stuff product.
Kidney stuff is an interesting product, and I don't make it. I market it. I don't always sell my own products. Sometimes when I see a product that's awesome, like Quest protein bars, I'm not going to try to duplicate Quest because I can't. But kidney stuff came out. I did some research on it. I talked to the guys who made it, and I said, look, I want to market this stuff for you because I really believe in it. I tried it out on a few guys, and I saw their creatinine went down. It's got a lot of anti-inflammatory type essential fatty acids in there because once you reduce the inflammation around the kidney tubules, they can filter better. It also has some ingredients that help dilate the kidney tubules so that you get a better filtration rate. And when you take this long term, it gives the kidneys a break and it reduces the internal pressures on the kidney tubules, and it allows those apparatus to start regenerating. Because the kidneys will regenerate. Not as efficiently as the liver, but they will regenerate. You just have to be patient. You're not going to improve your creatinine in 2 weeks. But in 6 months or to a year, you can completely reverse a lot of the damage that's been done.
Let's go to our Facebook page. Again, if you are on Facebook, you can like us at facebook.com/rxmuscle.com, all one word. We go to Devin Hicks. Dave, a few short questions. We'll go with the first one. Why macadamia nut oil?
Okay, before I answer that question, I just want to, someone had brought up something. The kidney stuff is available at DavePalumbo.com, not at Species Nutrition. That's a Dave Palumbo product. Why macadamia nut?
Yeah.
Macadamia nut oil is something that I was introduced to by my good friend Ron Norman. So let me give him credit where credit's due. And I actually had the Dr. Pescatori, who's the guy who originally marketed macadamia nut oil to the world on Heavy Muscle Radio a number of years back. And, what I found out when I started investigating it was that, number one, it's higher in monounsaturated fat, the good, hard, healthy fats, than olive oil, which we all think is the gold standard and the greatest thing, for your heart. So actually, mac oil is higher in monounsaturated fats. Also, we got to remember, all oils have multiple different fats in them. They don't just have monos, they have the polyunsaturated, or the essential fatty acids, the 6s and 3s. Olive oil has mostly 6s, almost no 3s. Mac oil has an exact 1-to-1 ratio of 3s to 6s, making it a very balanced oil. It's also very high in vitamin E, which makes it prevents it from being oxidized real easy. So Mac oil can be exposed to light, to air. It doesn't oxidize. It doesn't go bad. It doesn't get rancid. Maybe one of the best aspects of macadamia nut oil is you can cook with it. It has a very high smoke point. Olive oil burns real easy. Once you burn it, you change the health ramifications and you make it not healthy. Mac oil doesn't burn. You can almost deep fry with the thing at a very high level. It's I think 420 degrees. It's safe too. I saute foods with it, so you got that going for you. But probably the best thing about Mac oil is that it tastes amazing. It's like butter. So I mean, everyone knows, olive oil has a bitter taste. It might taste all right on salads, but let's face it, on eggs, it's not really that good. So mac oil to me is the all-purpose greatest oil, and that's why I went on a quest trying to find it. And I had to go all the way to South Africa to find the best macadamia nut oil because it comes from the best soil. And that's what I marketed for Species Nutrition, the best macadamia oil you can find. And I know it's available pretty much all over the place, but if you can't find it, you can always go to speciesnutrition.com.
His second question was about supplements. He goes, what other supplements are tried and true like creatine? And he wants you to name 2 or 3.
I think creatine has stood the test of time. So I think it's meaning that it came out in the 90s and it's still around today and guys are still using it and getting good results from it. It works. It volumizes the muscle cells, which makes it gives you better pumps and it makes you more anabolic. And it also buffers, it buffers the loss of ATP in the muscle cell via creatine phosphate. So creatine phosphate regenerates ATP inside the muscle cell, so you never run out of energy, which means you can train longer and harder without fatigue. And I think that that's important. So creatine definitely works at 5 grams per day. I think that's more than enough. A lot of guys throw it in their post-workout shake. Some guys throw it in their pre-workout shake. We're coming out with a creatine, a super micronized creatine monohydrate, which should be out probably in another month or 2 at speciesnutrition.com. But I really like creatine. And I think that the other tried and tested, supplement would have to be whey isolate. That's the gold standard. I mean, no one can eat enough protein via food. Very hard. If you're going to supplement with protein, though, you want to use a whey isolate. That's a whey protein that has all the lactose removed. Remember, lactose is milk sugar. Milk sugar is not easily digested by adults, and invariably the bacteria in the colon will ferment it, producing methane gas, causing malabsorption of the protein. So here you are, you buy a cheap protein, you think you're getting a great deal, and you don't even absorb half of it, and you wind up getting diarrhea and gas from it. Not a pretty sight, not smart. Once again, you want to put the best quality ingredients into your body if you want to get the best results.
Let's go to Dion Iliev, still on our official Facebook page. Hey, Dave, I hate hating this show. My hatred reserves are depleted, so I'm burning only love for fuel. Very sweet. I took Halo my last prep, though I was really low on carbs. I had more strength than usual. I plan to start my off-season with it from my weak parts, like 40 milligrams before leg days and back days. My logic is that if it's so good for strength, it must be activating more muscle fibers, hence more hypertrophy. Is this correct?
No, because halotestin has very low, almost zero anabolic properties. It's all androgen. And what do androgens do? They make you aggressive. And why would you be stronger in the gym when you're more aggressive? Go figure it out. Come on. More aggression means you're going to push heavier weights. Now, the pushing of the heavier weights might be an impetus to build more muscle, okay? But the drug itself has no anabolic properties. Plus, it's very liver toxic. So, to me, halotestin, other than the last 2 weeks before a show just to harden up, is a complete waste of time, and it exposes you to unnecessary toxicity.
We're going to take 2 more quick questions from our Instagram page. This one from Juicebox91. This show sucks so bad, I would rather go on a ride along with George Farah as he investigates Hanny Rambod for stealing the rock from him. Your thoughts on tapering down T3 as a competitor carbs up for a show, providing they're peeled and ready?
Yeah, I don't usually cut out or cut back T3 depending on what it's at. Let's assume it's at 75 micrograms per day. When I carb my guys up, I kind of take into account that that's the person's metabolism, and I don't lower it unless the person's just disappearing, unless they're losing weight too fast. Then I might cut it back maybe to 25 micrograms a day. But usually, most competitors don't go, their metabolisms don't take off in them. They don't start losing massive amounts of weight the last week. So I just leave it in there, and I feed them accordingly, whether I got to feed them a little extra or a burger and fries maybe the night before. Whatever I got to do, I do that. I don't like to take out stuff because once the body's used to a certain level of hormone, I don't want to take it out because I don't know what the ramifications could be. The person could start holding water. They could rebound. It's not smart to do anything the last week. Don't do kooky things the last week.
This last one from Barbarian B23. Hello, Dave. I hate this show so much. I'd rather listen to Kai Green spend 2 hours answering a simple question such as, what's your favorite chest exercise? My question is, are there any ways to reduce the lower back pumps from orals? Mine are killing me.
Well, not all orals cause excessive fluid retention. If you're getting lower back pain, it could be kidney pain, so it could be liver issue, soreness and swelling. So to me, if you're taking heavy orals like Anadrol or Dianabol and you're getting pains in those lower backs, I just wouldn't take them. I'm not a big, huge orals fan. Everyone knows that. I don't expose people to them for long periods of time. As a matter of fact, I believe that the best way to really try to grow would be without orals. The injectables are so powerful nowadays that I don't even know why anyone would even use an oral. Except maybe at the start of a cycle to kind of kick everything in a little quicker. Sometimes I'll use a little Dianabol. But to be honest with you, if you're going to do a long extended cycle, to try to put mass on, you really don't want to be intercalating orals in. The toxicity issue is just going to make it such that you're going to have to come off and clean out. So if you're getting pains in those lower back flank area, that's kidney pain. A lot of times it could be from swelling, but a lot of times it could be the kidneys are being overtaxed. It could be high blood pressure. I would lay off the orals.
That's going to do it for this episode of Ask Dave. We'll email the winners. We'll contact them via their social media channels. This episode is going to be available in its entirety in high definition on our YouTube channel. That is where we have all our episodes from Live with Ask Dave, Heavy Muscle TV, Fitness View, all our programming, Muscle in the Morning. It is all available, all categorized on our YouTube channel and, of course, on RxMuscle.com. For Dave Palumbo and our producer, Johnny Stiles, I'm Sadiq Faruqi. Have a good evening.